I'm Aaron Graber with Ventrac, and in this video, we're gonna go over every piece of snow removal equipment that we do for our 4520 tractor. We've got everything out here on the pad today to highlight, and we'll go side by side with each attachment and look at all the different features, talk about where you might use them, and what the benefits of Ventrac are. So we're gonna start with the 4520 that has a cab installed and has a few different options for snow removal. Of course, this is our flagship model. This is our flagship tractor. This is what a lot of customers use on a bunch of different types of properties. And this is a really good example of the main primary benefits of using a piece of Ventrac equipment over some other piece of equipment. So right away, you'll see that our attachment is out front of the machine. And that's the big difference between Ventrac and some other competitors that are out there, because conditions change and they change fast in the field. And there's a lot of times where you're gonna want to go from a broom to a blade or a blade to a snowblower, and you wanna be able to do that without going into the shop. On this tractor, you'll notice we also have a cab here. And this cab is a great example of what makes this machine super versatile, and putting a cab on really transforms the 4520 into a pure winter machine. So this cab is fully sealed and it is heated from the engine of the tractor. So we use liquid cooled engines, and then we pipe that coolant into the headliner of the cab, and that's what creates the heat. So it's very hot heat, very comfortable in even the most northern climates. On the back of this machine is our stainless steel drop spreader that we also sell, and you have wireless control from the inside of the cab for it. So the operator can do everything from the working end of the front to the pre-treatment or post-treatment end of the back of the machine without ever leaving the comfort of the heated cab. Another reason why this machine and this tractor setup in general works well in those tight areas is because we have articulated steering on this machine, and we operate a lot better in areas where you'll find those sidewalks in tight transitional areas. And having the visibility and maneuverability of working with a Ventrac machine makes the job much more doable than with a standard tractor or a skid loader or something like that. This particular attachment that we'll talk about is our KX snowblower. This is a 48-inch snowblower. We also do this in a 52-inch, and the reason we have two different options so close in size is that this whole machine is designed to work on a 48-inch sidewalk, because the footprint of the machine falls within that 48-inch span, and so does this snowblower. This is really our highest capacity snow removal attachment. So when the conditions are at their absolute worst, you're gonna get the snowblower out. And we often get asked, how much snow will this process, or how fast do you go? There is basically nothing that this won't chew through. And I've seen it go through snow that's even a foot taller than the snowblower itself. It just eats away at the bottom of it. It keeps collapsing in on itself, and you just go. There's really no storm that you can't tackle with a snowblower. This is the ultimate insurance policy for anybody doing serious snow removal. You also have operator controlled discharge chute, so you can change the pitch and the angle of this. So this chute moves all the way from left to right, and you can also change the pitch. It allows you to be able to throw the snow very far or very precisely, whichever your preference might be. So the snowblower covers everything in the nastiest of conditions. And the next attachment we're going to talk about is the other end of the spectrum. Everything from a light dusting to a couple inches of snowfall, and that's our powered broom. As mentioned, this is our power broom that we use for snow removal, and it is also on a 4520 tractor. The broom is one of the best snow attachments and the most popular snow attachment that we sell for the 4520. The reason it's the most popular is because it is the most useful across a broad range of conditions. This broom is a perfect fit for zero tolerance accounts especially. A zero tolerance account means it's an account where there can never be a time where there's snow accumulation on walking surfaces. You'll often find this at hospitals, airports, heavily trafficked walkable areas where liability is a huge concern, and those operators work round the clock usually during a storm to make sure that snow is always removed. What that results in is they're only ever removing a dusting of snow or maybe an inch of snow, because by the time they get back to it, they just redo it again. And the broom is perfect for that, because you can drop this broom into an inch or less of snow and go basically full speed. Nothing slows you down. It doesn't really get disturbed by imperfections in the pavement, and you have really great control over where that snow goes, because this broom angles left and right and has speed control of the drum itself. This broom is also highly versatile, because if you do get behind it has the power and torque to push through much deeper snowfalls. I have seen it successfully go through almost a foot of snow, but that was lighter, more powdery snow, a little bit easier to deal with. I've also seen it struggle if it's just a pure sheet of ice. If you've got nothing but ice, a broom won't help you. There's nothing it can do. But anywhere in between that is reasonable to think about this broom working. The broom is also perfect for a single pass solution on a machine like this, because when you get down to bare pavement, it also lets you apply granular salt at a very fine amount. A couple key features of the broom are that the drum itself, like I said, is speed variable independently of RPM of the tractor and wheel speed of the tractor. It's also directionally variable, which means you can fully reverse the direction of those bristles. Normally you'd be operating with those bristles sweeping forward away from you. You can actually reverse them so that they sweep backwards and pull towards you. So the tractor itself is a mechanical PTO that we drive off of this belt in the front. And that's a huge advantage in a snowstorm because a belt is a highly forgiving way to drive a PTO. When you get jammed up with ice in a snowblower, or you have a broom that overloads and the belt has to spin or slip, it does that really well, doesn't cause any damage, doesn't break any shear pins, and you can just keep going right after that. So what this broom has is its own hydraulic system on the back of the machine. You'll see that right here, this hydraulic tank, hydraulic pump and motor up at the front. And those are really packaged in a way that makes the broom very maneuverable so that we don't lose that ability to work on tight areas. You'll also see that this broom has a center pivot, which means that the broom doesn't swing left and right when you turn it left and right, so it stays within that footprint of the tight sidewalks. The motor is inset on the inside so that it's not hanging out and doesn't hit signage or car bumpers or anything like that. And it's also adjustable for how aggressive you get with the bristles. In summary, the powered broom, as our most popular snow attachment, is really for everybody. You'll find this in snow contractors' fleets. You'll also find it in municipalities, school districts, anybody doing high volumes of snow removal work. And you'll also see people appreciating it on surfaces that are a little bit more delicate than what you might take a blade across. Pavers, brick pathways, anything that's more decorative, the broom is exactly the attachment you want for that. Next, we'll go to another versatile attachment that we have, which is our VBlade. All right, let's talk about the VBlade now. The VBlade is our most versatile blade, and that's obviously because it makes all of the different movements and has all of the control of a VBlade. What you see here is our VBlade with optional 6-inch extensions on both the left and right side. That just makes it a little bit wider, a little bit more capable in clearing a wider area. Without those extensions, the VBlade narrows to within that 48-inch footprint for the tractor. Adding the 6-inch extensions is a very popular option because most people can get away with that width, and it does make this blade a significant amount more capable. The VBlade is something that you would use when the snow is a little bit too heavy for a broom, and you also still want to go very fast. So when you're at that 8 to 10-inch range and you want to just drop something in and go at speed and not worry about slowing down as much as possible, the VBlade is your option. Obviously, what the VBlade won't do as well as the broom, even though they both go at speed really well, is clear the pavement. So it does a really good job, but it doesn't get down to bare pavement. And that's why you'll find this thing not being used as much on zero tolerance accounts, but you'll find it in a lot of places where they want extra versatility and they just are more concerned about getting the snow off of the sidewalk. If you get a really heavy dumping of snow and then the storm just continues to slightly add more to it, then you can use the VBlade to open that up and do it really quickly and then go back with the broom and clear down to bare pavement. The VBlade is also available, like many of our blades, with a poly edge kit, and that allows you to work on more delicate areas with a little bit less concern of doing damage or leaving streaks. And you have full operator control of this blade from the seat of the machine. The VBlade also has the ability to trip the whole front structure, so there's a pin that goes in here, and when you pull that pin out, that whole part of the front blade trips forward. That way, when you are at speed, like you're going to be using this blade a lot of times, you'll hit some imperfections in the sidewalk oftentimes, and when that happens, the whole machine won't come to a stop. The blade itself will trip forward, and the operator will be protected, the machine will be protected. You'll continue to move forward without losing too much momentum. There's not a lot else to say about the VBlade. It works, and it works well. You'll find this in a lot of snow removal fleets, and for good reason. It's a fantastic piece to supplement some of the more specific snow attachments that we have. After the VBlade, we'll step sideways and highlight a simpler and similarly effective straight blade. Here we are with one of our straight blades. So what you'll see on the front of this tractor is a 60-inch straight blade. We also do this blade in 48 and 72, so we give you a bunch of different options in terms of width. And it also has the options of the removable side wings here. These are not standard. This is not something that you would necessarily want to run all the time, but it is an option that we offer because it does add some versatility to these blades. These are pretty simple. You just throw them on the tractor. It takes a few seconds to get it onto the machine. They are hydraulically controlled, and the blade itself does trip, so it has that same functionality. If you hit an obstruction in the sidewalk and it's uneven, the tractor's not going to come to a dead stop or anything. The hydraulic control is similar to the VBlade, where you have all of that control from the operator station. This is just a cheap, fast way to get into snow removal on a Ventrac. You will not necessarily see a straight blade in every one of the professional snow removal contractors' fleets, but it is an option that people get into usually first when they're using the tractor primarily in the off-season, and snow removal is a secondary job. Just like the VBlade, the straight blade also has the option of using poly edges so that you can work on delicate surfaces without doing any damage. Talking about straight blades and working on wider areas is the perfect segue to the next attachment that we want to highlight, because that's what it's focused on. It's one of the newer attachments that we've added to our line, and it's purely focused on doing as much area as possible. That's our box plow. Here we are at our final attachment to showcase and tractor, and that is the box plow. This is the gigantic, more productive big brother to the straight blade with extensions. This is a 72-inch plow that is the only width option that we do currently. It moves a lot of snow. That's really what there is to say about this thing. We built this so that we could take our tractor that's been classically good at working in really tight, intricate spaces and just harness all of that horsepower and capability and go move a lot of snow. If you go work in a parking lot with a straight blade, you're doing a little bit of extra work because there's some redundancy in pushing the spillover and controlling it from one end to the next. The box plow captures everything and just rolls it all together and takes it to the end of the row. So it really speeds up when you're in a wide open area and you're working to clear that area as fast as possible when there's no obstructions in it. If you're a professional snow operator, no matter where you are in the world, you usually have everything from a snow shovel all the way up to big payloaders and everything in between. Our tractor has always occupied a space that sort of stops at the parking lot, and with the box plow, that really is no more. You can do parking lots if they're in the smaller to mid-size with this box plow effectively and not feel like you're going too slow. This also will allow you to potentially use the tractor as the only snow removal piece of equipment in your fleet. The box plow allows that to happen. I've used this plow and it's phenomenal how fast it is compared to using a straight blade or a V-blade. That's all this thing cares about, is speed. Obviously we have skid shoes on the side that are adjustable to help it glide over obstacles, but the most important thing about using this thing at speed is the trip edge. You can see down here in the front, this black piece is a hardened steel cutting edge, and just that piece will trip so that if you hit an obstruction at speed, it allows the plow to glide over that without losing everything that's contained within it, because the whole plow doesn't trip forward. We also have two additional options for the box plow to make it even more versatile. We have a poly edge kit, and that does the same thing that it does on the straight blade and the V-blade. It just allows this plow to be less damaging on delicate surfaces. And more interesting, we have a turf edge kit. And what that is a rounded edge that has no obstructions in the whole span of the edge, and allows you to go in and do snow removal on synthetic turf and natural grass turf, where you're trying to get snow off to be playable for, typically it's sports turf in the Northeast. Lacrosse is about that season where it starts playing before the snow is done falling. Sometimes some golf courses will want to clear snow off of delicate areas where they don't want snow mold to develop. And that's a kit that allows you to use this box plow to do that without doing damage to the turf underneath. So it allows this thing to be extra versatile and to be used in really weird applications in addition to bulk heavy snow removal. Box plow is a fantastic attachment to round out the lineup. It allows you to see the Ventrac in its full potential From everything like the power broom, where you're working on really intricate, fine areas, getting down to bare pavement, to just going and doing the most work possible, like with this plow. There you have it. That concludes our overview of all of the different snow removal equipment that we do on the 4520 tractor. As you can tell, no matter what type of operator you are in snow removal, we have something for you, maybe everything for you. We have snow removal fleets that have one of these pieces if they're mostly operating in off-season and snow removal is just something they also do. We also have snow removal fleets that have every one of these pieces and plenty of people in between. With the power, size, maneuverability, and versatility of everything that we offer on this tractor, it doesn't give any reason to look elsewhere for compact equipment on snow removal. Ventrac has it all with the 4520.